There are few things more infuriating about watching films today than having them get spoiled before getting to see them. As far as horror movies are concerned, knowing how the story is going to end or who the killer is from the get-go can dilute the tension or destroy the whole movie experience. What's worse is the central plot points of a film are often given away by its own trailer. So with that in mind, I'm Ellie for What Culture, and here are 10 recent horror movie trailers that showed way too much. Number 10. Hatching. Hatching revolves around a teenage gymnast who desperately seeks the approval of her callous mother. After discovering an abandoned egg in the woods, she decides to care for it. However, the egg quickly grows to immense size, much to her concern. Upon cracking open, she sees that the hatchling is some sort of monster. Dubbing the newborn Allie, she vows to give her child the motherly love she never received. But as Allie grows, she realizes she's unable to control it. The first 2 minutes of Hatching's trailer play out with perfect subtlety, never revealing the creature. Although viewers catch a glimpse of Allie's eye and claw, it's impossible to tell what she looks like. Based on the other characters' reactions, it's obvious that she is a terrifying sight to behold, which is sure to tickle horror fans' curiosity. Too bad the last few seconds give the game away, disclosing that Allie eventually mutates into a horrifying doppelganger of the young gymnast. Worse still, the trailer also displays several shots from the final scene. Sadly, the last moments of the trailer eroded away all the tension that the first 2 minutes impeccably built up. Number 9. Immaculate. Immaculate follows Sister Cecilia, a virgin nun who becomes pregnant after arriving at a new convent. Due to the miraculous conception, Cecilia is believed to be the next Virgin Mary. Over time, Cecilia suspects the child growing inside her is anything but a blessing. Like most entries on this list, Immaculate's trailer gives away too much, including many shots from the climax. Even though the narrative is dealt with subtlety and care, viewers who've seen the trailer will have a decent idea of how everything is going to play out. Just to make things worse, the trailers also ruin the most unsettling moments. Although jump scares are often perceived as a cheap gimmick, they can work if executed perfectly. Though Immaculate has its faults, it's a prime example of how to utilize jump scares effectively. That's why it's irritating how the advertisements show almost every nerve-wracking sequence. In fact, the Red Band trailer opens with one of the best jump scares in the entire movie. For this reason, many people who caught Immaculate's TV spots, teasers, or commercials probably won't bat an eyelid while watching the movie itself. Number 8. Candyman. The Candyman reboot follows Anthony, an aspiring artist looking for inspiration for his latest work. Over time, Anthony decides to base his next project on Sherman Fields, a harmless homeless man unjustly gunned down by the police. Unbeknownst to Anthony, his art piece empowers Sherman's soul, allowing him to return as a murderous spirit. In the trailer's defense, the first half is top-notch. It depicts Sherman's death in a creative way, grabbing viewers' attention immediately. Although it doesn't exhibit too much about the plot at first, it shows enough to intrigue any horror lover. That's why it's disappointing how the second half reveals Sherman possesses Anthony after being summoned, turning him into a killer against his will. This is a clever spin on the Candyman mythos, so it would have been nice if audiences went into the movie with no prior knowledge of it. But it gets worse. Near the end of the trailer, the actor who played the original Candyman, Tony Todd, can be heard uttering the words "tell everyone," spoiling his cameo. Even though Todd isn't seen in the promotions, die-hard fans had little trouble recognizing the performer's distinctive voice. Number 7. Smile. In Smile, a curse is passed on to a psychiatrist called Rose Cotter, causing her to be tormented by a grinning shapeshifter. Believing she will take her own life like her mother, Rose does everything in her power to destroy the tooth-bearing entity. Now, a smirking demon may not sound like the scariest thing in the world, but the opening scene is so gripping it'll rattle almost anyone to their core. The way the story explores mental illness, family, grief, and suicide is bound to leave many viewers on the edge of their seat. Though Smile takes its time building tension and exploring the creature's origins, the trailer does the opposite. It divulges how the Smile monster functions, robbing it of its mystique. It shows how the whole story is going to play out, including several shots from the final scene. Even though Smile has many masterful jump scares, the majority are flaunted in the promotions, including the infamous dangling headshot. After watching the trailer, it's difficult to think of a single creepy moment or integral plot point it didn't cover. Number 6. The Black Phone. In The Black Phone, a 13-year-old boy called Finney is kidnapped by a serial killer called the Grabber. The teenage lad awakens later inside a basement with a rotary phone. Though the phone is broken, Finney receives calls from the Grabber's previous victims who give him tips on how to escape. Now, an innovative premise like this is likely to catch the attention of plenty of horror advocates. As such, there's no reason to know anything else. But the trailer couldn't help itself. Although the first 2 minutes are solid, the last minute unveils far too much. It reveals Finney's psychic friend uses her visions to find the house Finney is abducted in. Finney is seen to escape, only for him to be recaptured. One shot depicts the grabber drenched in blood while uttering the words, "Look at what you made me do," to Finney. Since the grabber lives with his brother, it's not hard to work out what fate has in store for him. Just to really tick people off, the trailer ends by showing Finney's last stand against his captor. With trailers like this, it feels like the marketers are under the impression that selling the movie means showing the movie. Number 5. Saw 10. The 10th Saw movie takes place shortly after the original Saw, with John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, seeking out an experimental procedure to cure his brain cancer. After learning the surgeons are con artists, John kidnaps them and forces them to take part in one of his twisted games. Even though the franchise has been flagging in recent years, this film is considered a return to form. Since John is the most compelling character, it was a wise decision to let him serve as the main character for once. Rather than overstuffing every scene with excessive gore, the first half focuses on John's struggles and desperation, creating a much more character-driven narrative. Going into the 10th Saw movie with zero expectations is sure to offer viewers plenty of surprises, but it's a different story altogether for anyone who had the misfortune of watching the trailer. The trailer is the worst kind, mapping out every aspect of the plot. Not only are many of the traps shown in all their glory, John can be heard explaining how they work step by step, leaving nothing to the imagination. Even though the traps are Saw's biggest selling point, it would have been better if the trailers didn't spell out how they work. Number 4. Knock at the Cabin. In this adaptation of Paul Tremblay's novel from twist maestro M. Night Shyamalan, Eric and Andrew are vacationing with their adopted daughter in a cabin when 4 strangers break in, spouting about Armageddon. The leader of this quartet, Leonard, tells the family they must perform a human sacrifice to avert the end of the world. Believing Leonard and his companions are crazy, Eric and Andrew refuse to listen. Knock at the Cabin's first trailer was perfectly executed, highlighting the severity of the situation and the urgency of each character's motivations. Most importantly, the teaser doesn't reveal whether Leonard's warnings are legit. Was his group chosen to stop Judgment Day, or are they out of their mind? Sadly, moviegoers didn't need to watch Knock at the Cabin to uncover the truth. In the second trailer, Leonard's prophecy is shown to come to pass, with tsunamis swallowing the earth and planes falling from the sky. After seeing these scenes, many viewers correctly deduce that Leonard's troupe represent the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse without bothering to watch the movie. The second trailer may not have spoiled everything, but it highlighted just enough for viewers to put 2 and 2 together. Number 3. Megan. Even though spoiler-heavy trailers are a common problem, it's usually not the case when it comes to a movie's teaser. The first trailer's objective is to intrigue potential customers while only showing the bare minimum. 1 or 2 cool moments may be revealed, but it's usually not enough to ruin the movie. But this wasn't the case for Megan. The very first trailer for this sci-fi slasher highlights every plot point in chronological order. The 2-minute promo also depicts the titular robot slaying multiple victims. As a result, anyone watching the trailer knew who lived or died before they saw the movie. Just to be clear, this was the teaser. The later promotions managed to be even less restrained. To be fair, the way Megan was advertised worked out in the long run, since the property was hyped like crazy the instant the trailer dropped. Hell, the Sinister Doll's spaghetti-armed dance became a viral sensation long before the movie came out. Although the overexposed marketing helped to make Megan a success, it would have been nice to watch the movie without knowing exactly what was going to happen. Number 2. Abigail. Sometimes it's best to go into a movie blind. From Dusk Till Dawn, The Cabin in the Woods, and Psycho take such a drastic turn at the halfway point, they're sure to sideswipe anyone so long as they don't know what's going to happen. However, going in with zero expectations is challenging when the promotions blab about everything the movie in question has to offer. Such is the case with Abigail. A group of criminals kidnap a young girl, hoping to ransom her for $50 million. Slowly but surely, the captors realize Abigail is more dangerous than she seems. Rather than keeping the premise vague enough to stay intriguing, the trailers just come out and say it. Abigail is a vampire. But it doesn't stop there. The trailer shows numerous action sequences, how Abigail's powers work, and the fact that she turns one of the main characters into a fellow bloodsucker. In Interestingly, it seemed like the marketers initially considered keeping hush-hush about the premise. In the original poster, the titular character can be seen wearing a blood-speckled ballerina dress. Although this image indicates Abigail harbors a dark side, it shares no more than that. But the later posters were retouched, with blood smeared all over Abigail's gown and mouth, just to make sure everyone knew what kind of movie this is. Number 1. Speak No Evil. Speak No Evil is a remake of the 2022 film of the same name. In the original, a Danish couple is invited to a Dutch couple's home after befriending them on holiday. Due to the host's passive-aggressive behavior and veiled threats, the Danes strongly consider leaving. Although the Dutch emphasize their guests are perfectly safe, it isn't long before the weekend away turns into a nightmare. Even though 2022's Speak No Evil is a great horror flick, the trailer exposed too much, even going so far as showing shots from the final scene. But rather than learning from the original's mistake, the marketing for the 2024 version was more rampant with spoilers. Although the hosts are eventually revealed to be psychopaths, their initial antagonism is depicted subtly, to the point where the guests can't tell if they're misreading their behavior. Unfortunately, the trailer makes it unmistakably clear this couple are bad to the bone. But that's not all. One of the most provocative subplots revolves around the host's son, who was supposedly born without a tongue. In the trailer's final moments, the boy can be seen making a snipping motion around his mouth, implying his tongue was chopped off. Why the trailer ruined this surprise, which is only revealed at the end, is anyone's guess.